What's going on, everybody? This is Ryan, and the time has finally come. After playing this game for 5 to 6 weeks now, with no time traveling, we finally hit a 5-star rating, which means we can finally do a proper 5-star island tour. Before I show you the island, I want to make a couple of things clear really quick. Number one, my house is still a work in progress. I've been putting a lot of work into the island for the last 2 weeks, and so what's been happening on the inside of my house is still a work in progress, so I'm not going to show that. Number two, the whole island itself is still a work in progress. I posted a video a couple of days ago showing the exact moment I hit a 5-star rating, and I'm nowhere near done with this thing. However, I did receive comments letting me know that it would be pretty neat to do 2 different island tours. One shortly after I got the 5-star rating, and then one after I did a little bit more work on the island and it became a little bit more refined. So this video is going to be the video of the 5-star island while it's still a work in progress. Right out of the gate from the airport, you are led directly into the resident area of the island. You'll take a look at the map here. You'll see that all 10 houses for all of the other villagers are positioned on the left-hand side of the island. Right here up in the front, we just have a little mini park area for the residents to use. Obviously, they don't, but I thought it was a nice little entryway once I got the go board. So I made this little area. It used to be a pond, but it didn't really feel right, and this does. Coming over here to the left side, you'll see all the resident houses set up in what is essentially a neighborhood-style fashion. You just kind of have everybody checkerboarded along the left side of the island here, and everybody's house has their own little driveway or side area to their house that I've decorated slightly with just some small furniture to give it some sort of personality, to kind of correlate to their personality or who they are in just a small way. Otherwise, I kind of just put stuff in there to fill out their house and make it look a little bit more lived in. Coming over here to the left side, we have the pier area of the island, and nothing too special over here. Like I said before, everything is still a work in progress. I do have a little bonfire section for those cold, you know, kind of nights where you just want to spend on the beach. Coming up here along the beach of the residence area, I have the Godzilla monster here, just kind of pretending like he's coming into the island. I honestly just wanted to go ahead and just put him out on the island. I didn't really have a plan for him, and there's no real theme for having him out here, but here he is. This pathway here leads up to the nature trail of the island, which is also where you'll find the campsite. Off the trail, though, that leads to the campsite, we have just a little rocky area where you can come spend the night and look at the shooting stars. I've seen similar posts like this on Reddit and Twitter, so I figured I'd implement it myself. And I think an area like this on your island, if you don't have it set up yet, really adds a lot of depth to these rocky areas that never really serve any purpose. So making our way over to the campsite area, you'll notice a lot of waterfalls. I wanted to just add a lot more elemental features to make it feel more naturey, so you'll notice that it has more trees than other parts of the island. Here's the campsite right here, and there's just a lot of waterfalls surrounding it. I wanted this to look as untouched as possible, despite the fact that these waterfalls weren't here. I added them in, and I think it adds a lot of depth to the campsite area, and this area in particular. I love it so much. Despite the fact that this area doesn't get used a lot, it's actually one of my favorite areas on the whole island. And apparently Daisy May is spending her time here, so that's cool too. Now, there's not really a way to get to the other parts of the island from the nature trail. It's kind of just its own little mountainous area, so we have to go all the way back down here, and then we're going to swing around the residence area. We're going to be able to tour the rest of the island from here. Before we head up the stairs here to the second level of the island, just want to show that this is just the outside of the residence area here. Again, you just go through any one of the paths and you end up right back into the neighborhood. But coming up here, you actually have a work-in-progress flower breeding garden. There is a 12x12 flower breeding guide that was released on Reddit a few days ago, maybe a week ago, and I've gone ahead and implemented that. In previous videos, I had a gigantic 5x5 flower breeding section here, but apparently 5x5 flower breeding sections are no good. So once this was released, I set it up, and we'll see how long this lasts until the next optimal flower breeding guide has been released, which is probably going to be in the next couple of days. I saw recently a post too of some sort of greenhouse effect that you can make with the stalls, and so I want to implement that myself. I love little sections like this. They just add so much life to different areas that you have, and making a makeshift greenhouse next to the flower breeding garden just makes it look so much more, I would say, professional. I did end up making the greenhouse tile myself, so if anybody wants it, I will go ahead and put the design code in the description down below. Making our way past the flower breeding garden, we come up here to a simple orchard. Once again, just another work in progress area. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this middle section here. I know I could probably add more trees, but I do kind of like the idea of having it be more of a sit-in, hangout area right here in the middle of the orchard. So work in progress. Going down here to the secret beach, you can only get down by using a ladder. If you don't have a ladder on your person, you're not going to be able to make it to the secret beach. I wanted to keep the secret in secret beach, and so I made it without an incline, and also I didn't have enough inclines to use. You only get a maximum of 8, and I already used my 8, and so I figured, you know what, this is going to be the one spot where I don't have an incline. I think it will be totally fine. Not many people are going to come out here, but for the people that do, you have a nice little, I want to call it like a pirate area for when Red shows up on the island. But it looks like you have a ton of stuff that are getting ready to be delivered, or a ton of stuff that have been delivered, which I just think looks really, really neat. It's a way to, again, fill out another part of the island that would otherwise generally, for most people's islands, be very empty and kind of dead. Make our way back through the double waterfalls leading to the secret beach. Coming down here from the right side of the flower breeding garden, you go over this Zen bridge over here, and before we hit the shops, we're going to come up here to a little coffee bar area. Pattern on the stalls is not a custom pattern. That is a pattern that you can get from Sable after you talk to her every single day. So if you don't already have Sable's patterns unlocked, go ahead and talk to her every day. Eventually, she'll start giving you patterns like this one, and you can make your own little coffee bar like this. It's set up right next to a pond that leads to a waterfall. It's just a nice little section, and I've always wanted a coffee bar on my island. I think it's one of the first things that I really wanted to do, and I really like how it's been implemented on my island. Coming down here from the coffee bar, you will come into the shopping area of the island. It's a bit far from the airport, but I wanted all the residents to be in one central location, which is why I utilized this spot for this particular reason. Also, the museum was already up here. I didn't want to move it again. The museum entrance that I wanted takes up quite a bit of space, and I didn't want to move it from where it was, so I figured I'd go ahead and just make this a shopping area. And I really like how it came out. I have a ton of stalls here to make it look like, you know, just like a street vendor kind of section. It still needs to be filled out with various things, but otherwise you get the basic premise of what we're trying to accomplish here. We'll just kind of come around here to a little lookout to the beach. You can kind of see a lighthouse off into the distance there. I think most people have that on their islands. And then we're going to swing right up here to the museum, which we've already kind of explored. It's just a gigantic T-Rex fossil statue and then a gigantic Triceratops fossil. So I plan on putting a ton of these different stalls out with different fossils just to make it look like, you know, there's information regarding various things that people can read about and learn about for fossils, to just make it look a little bit more kind of like an educational area before you walk into the museum. And like most people we have a double entrance to the museum. We have one on the left side with a waterfall right in front, and then an entrance or exit on the right-hand side as well, to keep everything as symmetrical as possible. Moving past the shopping area and coming down to the right-hand side down this incline here, this is going to be the setup of a park. We are just simply going to put out a ton of benches. I'm going to try putting out a lot of different playground furniture and stuff like that. This is honestly the only side of the island that doesn't really have a lot worked on it right now. You can already kind of tell, oh, Gladys is sleeping on the park bench. You can already kind of tell we're already filling in the park area of it, so we just need to expand this out further up north, and that will start to just make it look more like a park. As you already kind of saw going up the right-hand side of the island, just another waterfall, a telescope off to the side that you can use for stargazing, and then, as I mentioned before, the lighthouse that most people tend to put out on this side of their island. As I'm traveling down the beach, I've realized how much real estate essentially I could be using that I'm not using. So I definitely plan on adding way more stuff to the beach. So we'll just have to wait for when that next video comes out and see exactly what I've done with it. Now, this part here is a bit awkward. I've always wanted to use this satellite for something, as well as that wind turbine that you kind of see in the bottom right-hand corner. However, I couldn't really find a good space for it, and I only bought it recently, so I didn't really know where to put them, so I went ahead and just put them right here. It's not the prettiest structure on the whole island, but it serves a purpose, I suppose, and so that's why that's there. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet, but there it is. Coming down here, once again, just need to fill out more of this beach section, and then we'll go right across a Zen bridge that actually leads into my house. My house is currently set up very fancy. It's basically set up like a mansion style. You have a very long walkway with a garden on either side of the pathway that leads right up to my house. You have a kind of pond on either side, and then over here on the right-hand side, you have what is essentially an outdoor relaxing area. And then on the left side here, you just have a pool. Once again, the house is still a work in progress, so we're not going to show the house. I wanted to surround it with water and waterfalls as much as possible. I wanted to make sure that you could see waterfalls behind the house. I thought about putting them 3 stories high, but then I realized that the rest of the shopping area and what I wanted to do for the flower breeding garden wouldn't work, so I just made it 1-story high waterfalls, which even at this angle looks really, really nice. I just really wanted waterfalls behind my house. I do wish that we had things like gates and stuff that we could use. That way you don't get these random residents who walk in and out of places that you never intended for them to, but that's totally fine. Down here south from my house, we have the entrance to a little tiki bar. There are some things that I need to get for this bar, like coconut drinks and tables. This was actually something that I started building as of yesterday. Once again, as most things are on most people's islands, this was inspired by a post on Reddit that I saw. And so if I can find the tiki bar code, I will definitely post it in the description down below. Just taking a look at the map here in the bottom right hand section, the only other part that needs to be explored then is just coming up here to the Resident Services Center. Now this Plaza section has basically been this way for at least the last 3.5 weeks, maybe even longer than that, maybe even a week into the game's release. I got a rare tulip island and so made a rare tulip kind of garden out front, but obviously as you've seen as I've walked around the island, I have basically grown all the other flowers in every single color except for gold roses. And so I plan on actually uprooting this entire section in front of the Resident Services Center and doing something different with it. Not quite sure what that is yet, but I'll be doing something with it soon. Now that we're done with the tour, let me go ahead and just change out of this business outfit that I've been wearing this whole time. Let me go ahead and have a seat right here, and let me thank you guys for watching the video and touring my 5-star island with me. So as I mentioned before, there are parts of the island that still do need a little bit of refinement. I need to fix up the park area that is on the right hand side. I'm going to fix up the garden in front of my home, and there's actually a space above the Resident Services Center that I want to do a little bit more with. And of course, as I mentioned before, I do need to fix up the interior of my house before I show it off to you guys. I don't want to show you its current state. It's really just a bunch of turnips because it's Sunday, and so my attic and my basement is just all turnips. But yeah, as I've said, this tour was basically given because there were people who said that it would be a neat idea to show it shortly after I got the 5-star rating, and then once I completed my island, or at least what I felt like was a more completed island, then show it off at that point. That way you can kind of see what a work in progress 5-star island looks like versus what the creator deems to be a completed 5-star island. Otherwise, that will do it for this video. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, watching this video, and touring my island with me once again. If you did enjoy the island tour and did enjoy the video, please be sure to drop a like. If you're new to the channel and want to be notified whenever that new updated 5-star island tour is posted to my channel, be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on. And it should also be mentioned that I post a lot of Animal Crossing New Horizons videos anyway. That'll do it for me though. Thanks once again for watching the video and hanging out with me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you later.